Alright, you bastards, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today I want to talk about something that is an important factor in bartering for prepping. But before we do that, if you're interested in detective stories, in the link down will be a link to, in the description, there will be a link to the first book that I wrote called Bloody Crosses. It's in Dutch. If you're interested, take a look. So, I hear a lot of preppers talking about bartering, but the way they think they just exchange stuff, but bartering is often very specific. What do I mean by that? If you are going to give somebody 5 pounds of rice, for example, and they give you two, I use metric system, so I don't know the imperial system, 2 ounces of gold, whatever. How you're going to measure it when there are no standard measurements on the product? Because a lot of products you will not always barter for a whole bag of rice that is in a packet. You will perhaps take scoops in some sort of container and you will barter that, because you will not give a whole year of food just away in one thing, because it will be too expensive during survival situations or city defense situations, or yeah, you just want to ration it perhaps, because rationing is also something important. You have to measure how much are you going to eat, or you can give some to somebody else. And yeah, it could become a little bit problems, because some people will say you give him more than me, so you must have a way to measure it, otherwise there will be conflict, not only from family friends, but especially from people that you barter with, that you really don't know, and they can come back with a vengeance. So I would say have some ways. We will show you a few ways that you can just find in everyday stores to measure or weight stuff that is handy for survival situations, and a few improvised ways how you're going to do this. Well, first of all, I would say just there is something I don't really like electrical scales, because yeah, during survival I hate batteries, and second of all, yeah, find replacement batteries, or it's a really small chance EMP or whatever, or yeah, I prefer something mechanical like this. Yeah, get one of those mechanical weight scales that you can just adjust with a little notch to fit for whatever container you first weigh the container and measure it in to calculate it, the weight precisely, and that way you can it's not only handy for cooking but also for bartering, for dividing the rations to make it more fair for everyone. So yeah, I would say get one of these. These are something very handy. Sometimes you have to weigh something a little bit bigger. So yeah, you cannot weigh, for example, if you are going to barter with a deer or something, you cannot not cut it in small pieces. You can cut it into small pieces and weight it size by size, but sometimes you have something really big that you cannot just put on top of this. So there are a few options like this. This is one of those weight scales. You just hang this onto a beam or something. You have a beam upwards, and you hang a big bag or a whole deer or something on top of this, and you can weigh up to 200 kilograms. So yeah, that's very lot, and it's easy to set up anywhere. So you can not only barter at your home, you can take this with you and barter at somebody else's place. So yeah, that's another part of bartering that you should be thinking about. If you're going to somebody's farm or somebody's house, take your own weight scale, just so to make sure they have not been tampering with for giving less and asking more. So you have to be very suspicious about that, especially during survival and shitty defense situations, and of course for profiteers and the black market, that could be very dangerous. So be very carefully about those things. So yeah, weight scale like this could be very handy. And I'm an idiot because I have put this upside down. So, but you know the gist. It's also mechanical, so there's no batteries that being used by this. It's just pure mechanical. You can just put this in your bag bag and go somewhere for bartering. So very handy. this is something that is less reliable, but it's smaller and it can go up to 25 kilograms, and it's just pure mechanical. I would say this is something to do an estimate. This is not for precision weighting. So, but yet again, it's very small, very handy, and you can still use it to hang your coat on top of it. But don't leave something hanging if you're going to use it for weighting. Don't leave something hanging, because the spring will be teared out if you put something for a long time on top of it. And of course, there are improvised ways. If you do not have a weight scale, or you always been dependent on electrical weight scales and the battery is down, you can do something very simple like this. This is, if you can see, a coat hanger, but to make it a little bit more precise, I have put one of those measuring bubbles on top of it. We all know, if you worked in the construction, you will know why this is. This is to keep it straight, to keep the balance so straight as possible, that even the tiniest weight you can see that is from the moment that you start, and also a little bit proof when you're bartering that it's not tilting to one way more than the other. And you just take one of these hooks on the sides of the coat hanger. This hook around here. Yeah, also use the same hooks and hang them back with whatever it is you want to weight. You have a weight, you can put on a weight that you know that is a certain weight, like one of those metric system blocks that you can use, or use a package that you know, like a packet of salt of 1 kilogram, hang it on one side and you can measure it. If it's the same thing, it's 1 kilogram. So with a coat hanger and a bubble measure thing, I don't know the English name for this, but you can improvise it in that way to make an old-timey scale. And yeah, it could be used with anything. Just a piece of wood, just right in the middle, drill one of those eyes in it, hang it, and yet again hang it on both sides equally, and measure it with a known weight and to the weight that you want to measure to make it equal. So yeah, these are very simple improvised ways. Can save you a lot of problems, a lot of fights, a lot of debating, arguing, and it will make it all a little bit more fair, not only for you, but also for the other persons you're going to bother with, because you do not want to make enemies during the survival situation, especially not shit in the fan. You don't want people to cross people and they can do things back to you, especially when there is no standardization and laws and order around. So yeah, very important to not to cheat, and we'll also try to weed out the cheaters by using these systems, that you will not lose assets or parts of your preps because of some douchebag who want to cheat. So yeah, I would say if you have any other measurements, perhaps you can do something with filled with containers of bottles filled with water as a weight scale or something that could also be useful, or buckets that will work in the same way. So yeah, use your imagination, but be logical. If somebody else know any other way to do these things, please let me know, especially when it's in an improvised way. I'm always eager to learn. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Cheers!